Hi, it's Ben Wakely here, and today I want to tell you how I can sell your property off market for a great price, and in a matter of days, not months. Look, even if you're excited to sell your property, the sales process can often be stressful and time consuming. And whilst the standard real estate processes do work, they can be a hassle if you don't have a lot of time available. And there's also quite a few costs. Selling off market avoids all of that. I've sold well over 150 properties off market. Today I want to tell you just a few quick stories about some of them to show you that can be done for almost any property. So there was a deceased estate property in Paddington. I got called out. They wanted to sell the property, but they didn't want all the process with regards to going through the marketing campaign and auction campaign. They wanted it done quite privately and only a select few buyers to know about it. I ended up getting 2 offers on the property within 48 hours. Well over $2 million, and secured the property for $2,225,000. The owners were ecstatic. It was 3 siblings that were left the property, and it made it a stress-free process for them, and they were all able to move on with their lives. And I managed to sell the property in 48 hours through my network of buyers from a block of land that I'd previously sold on the market for 2.8. So I had a leftover buyers from that. They called me out on the back of that sale, and the buyers that missed out on that property were positioned ready to go to buy that property for $2.225 million. I have a large database of buyers of over 3,500 buyers registered and ready to buy now. So if you're looking to sell your property, I definitely would be able to match it with one of the buyers that are looking to buy now, that have missed out on other properties that have been in the market and are looking to secure a property as soon as possible. So a property at Barden, the client came to me he was moving to Sydney for work. Wondered if I had any buyers on hand. I have a number of developers. I work closely with Greyer Construction. They were able to secure the property within 24 hours. The seller was happy, the buyer was happy. The seller was able to move down to Sydney to their new job, and the buyers have got their new project. So it was a very good transaction, stress-free on both sides, and everyone's in a winning position. Greyer Constructions, I first met Rob and Andrew 3 years ago. They were 2 young guys wanting to start out. Sold the first home in Indooroopilly. They look for sites, and we've sold I've sold a number of properties to them, and then we resell them back onto the market. The properties that they're usually interested in are properties that no one else is game to take on. They're featured on the Today Show, featured on bulletins all around the world about taking on hoarders' houses and all these sort of things, and we've been able to flip them over and resell them for multi-million-dollar homes, well above $2 million. I've been working with the Greyer Construction for about 3 years. In that time we've done 11 transactions, and it's ranged from hoarders' homes to just larger blocks, and we've been able to secure those properties and then resell them for well over $2 million. I've got access to people in the area that want to upgrade, downgrade, all demographics of buyers, and also got access to all these builders and developers that want properties that need a lot of tender loving care. So all the aspects of your property are covered. This is another story actually, another funny one in Paddington. It was one that I sold to the Greyer Construction Group. We had a estate that was left to one of the beneficiaries. The gentleman didn't have a mobile phone, didn't have a fax machine. So we struck the deal. It was $838,500. I hopped on a plane, flew down to Sydney, got the contract signed, left the cab waiting outside, hopped back in the cab, straight back to the airport, almost hopped on the same plane that I flew down in, and everyone was happy, and then we resold that property for in excess of $2.1 million. I go to that extent for people because as much as the new age digital marketing and the realestate.coms of the world, I still believe in the old-fashioned real estate values. I still strongly believe in the work ethic that it takes. And all it took was a trip down to Sydney. It only took 4 hours out of my day to get a contract signed, and it was a stress-free time for those people. So the buyers, the Greyer Construction, moved on and were happy with their purchase, and it was stress-free for the sellers because they didn't have to clean out the house and get the property ready for market. So again, it was just going that extra mile to be able to sell the property for the owners and get a good result. So there's a property in Auchenflower. It had been on the market with 3 other agents. I managed to stalk the house and sit outside waiting to see if the owners were there. couldn't find the owners. I found the housekeeper that rocked up late at night. I'd been sitting outside this home every day from 6 o'clock waiting for the housekeeper to come home. Eventually the housekeeper wouldn't pass on the owner's details. I eventually found the town planner and the architect for the project. Once finding this, I found out that they had a financial planner. The owners were overseas and had been divorced for 20 years, but still owned the property together. It was their only asset that they owned together. I was able to sell it to a developer, Velocity Property Group, and we've actually got 11 units plus 3 townhouses and a house coming out of the ground this year in 2017. Look, I sold one last year in Barden. The circumstances were they didn't want, for privacy reasons, they didn't want anyone knowing, including family and friends, that they were selling their property. Within 24 hours, I was able to secure a great price, well above their expectations. Should they have gone to market, it would have, not been that private. There would have been marketing costs associated. But I was able to marry up their property with the perfect buyer at the time, and it settled within 30 days. And again, a very happy transaction of a happy buyer and a happy seller. Yeah, I could definitely sell your property off market because I've got access to more buyers. I've got very good experience in being able to educate you on the price of your home so you're making the right decision. And I've done this more than any other agent in my marketplace. So I'm very confident. And then when we sit down, that's the price that you would get if you were to sell it off market. I'd love to do the same thing for you, and if you do want to give me a confidential call anytime, I'd love to look at your property for you and see if I've got the right kind of buyer that would suit your property at the time, and I dare say I will.